Before we start this little breakdown slash tutorial, I wanted to thank all you guys for the support of my stuff. My YouTube video, my first video, is at almost 700 views, almost 100 likes, which is wild. My Twitter account, or X, has gotten almost 170,000 views in the last week alone, which my mind can't even comprehend. I really appreciate it, and let's get into the video. So now that we're in Blender, let's check this out. We have our cup models. I didn't model these myself, I got them from a website called Dimensiva. It's a pretty cool site where you can download 3D models. It's a premium service, but it's worth it in my opinion. These cups, I just used a very basic glass shader. It's embarrassingly basic. For the lighting, I used this Grayscale Gorilla HDRI just to get some nice reflections. I'll break it down a little bit more later in the video. But just, rotating this light to get some nice reflections. Now for the material, I'll create it from scratch just to show how simple it is. Delete this one. Sorry, struggling. Sometimes the material editor confuses me a little bit. Not sure which one. 1 second, sorry. There we go. Apologies about that. Now for the glass material, we'll name it glass. Select both, assign it the material. Set the color to white, make sure it's white. Transmission all the way up to 1. Turn the roughness down as much as you want. I turned it like pretty much all the way down. Maybe a tiny bit of roughness. Very little bit. There's more complex ways to create glass, but this is just easy and it looked the best. Turn the roughness up just a tad. Just a little bit. You can change the color if you want. Make one of those restaurant cups you get from like Applebee's or the 99, depending on where you live, but we're just going to go with white for this one and with little roughness. Now that we basically have our entire glass thing set up, we have the floor next. The floor is just a simple plane, very simple plane, with a Quixel concrete texture, nothing special about it. If you Control-Shift-Click, you can see the textures will essentially isolate and it'll show what you're working with. Very simple. No displacement or anything. I believe just a normal map was used. As you can see over here, this is what it looks like. There's with some lighting. Turn off the caustics. Now if we come down here, we can see that there is normal, bump, and no displacement. That's what it looks like with displacement. If you like that, you can keep that on. In the normal map, turn that to 1, just to bring out some details. It looks really nice, especially when the light bounces off it. You can turn it way up, but it doesn't really look good. Keep that at 1. Our scene's looking pretty cool so far. There's a couple things that we just need to fix, and it'll be looking even better. The shadows at the top and the bottom screen are a little light for my liking, so what I did is created a new plane, called it Light Blocker. Light blockers are really anything that blocks light. In this case, I used a just simple plane as a light blocker, put it at the top of my scene to help darken these shadows a bit. You can see when I turn on our final lighting with the spotlight, there's a pretty big difference when you turn it on or off, and I decided to keep it on for a more dramatic look. Now for the final lighting in the scene, I used a spotlight with a gobo texture. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about or have never heard of a gobo, I'll explain real fast and then we'll get back to the video. According to Wikipedia, a gobo is an object placed inside or in front of a light source to help control the shape of the emitted light and its shadow. I'll show you real quick how you can make your own and even use it in Blender. If you're not interested and you just want to get back to the video, there will be a timestamp. Feel free to click that, but if you're interested, I'll show you how to make your own right now. Before I show you how to make your own, you can always buy some or find PNGs online Like on the Blender Market, they have some really awesome packs you can get. I used the B Production Gobo pack. It's my favorite. It's actually the one I used for the shot that I made. I used Abstract Gobo 12, I believe. You can also use Google to find gobos. Just make sure that they're black and white and have a solid background. They have a bunch on here. Any image works. It can have color, even if you want. The light will project with color. Searching trees here. Black and white. Like any of these would work. You can pick any of these. You could do trees, leaves, anything you want. I'll search some leaves. Black and white leaves. Leaf. Leaves, PNG, black and white. Any of these could be used if you want, but let's create our own. Now, in the spirit of keeping things free, instead of Photoshop, I'm using GIMP, the free photo editing software. You can go right to Google and download it. Super simple, set it up, and once you install it, let's jump right in. So when I open GIMP, I'm just creating a new document, 2000 by 2000, or whatever you feel like. Creating a new layer. I mainly use Photoshop, so pardon me if I'm a little confused. Grab a brush, just do whatever you want. Scribble that, we'll make a new layer, create two. Turn that layer off and make some circles or something, whatever you want. You can literally do whatever. Just scribble around, yeah, like that, like that, like that. Maybe some of that. Okay, then when you're happy, go down to File, Export. Name it to whatever you'd like. Just default. That's our first one. Shut that off. Next one. File, not save. Excuse me. Export. Export as. Save. Oh, where you want to save it to. Gobo, whatever. Scribble. .png and save. Export. Okay, now we're done with that. Let's get into Blender. I have a very simple scene here with Suzanne the monkey, a grid, and a spotlight. The spotlight is just directly above Suzanne the monkey. Nothing special going on. We'll put it to rendered view. Have the power cranked up pretty high, the spot size. You click Use Nodes to use a gobo texture. Drag out a new window so we have more room. Shader editor. Now we take the textures that we just created. Grab them. Take both of these guys, drag them in. Take them over here. You plug the color into the color, and then right away you can already see it's got a pretty cool look. Turn on denoising. You can adjust the spot size to change the size of it. The radius will blur it. You can adjust the power down here or up there. This one works too. Change the radius. Like that. We can take our other texture over here. Try that one out. These aren't the best examples, but you can really see how you can come up with some cool stuff. Now let's get back to the breakdown. Now that we're back in our original file with the glass, I'll get back to the breakdown. So, for the spotlight, I used the B Production Abstract 12 gobo texture plugged into the emission. Shut the caustics off for performance. This one. Show you what it looks like. Go here and 12. See, it's just a random cool blurred image. You can use anything. Maybe we'll try some other ones just to switch it up. That one's kind of cool. It's another option. All these look pretty neat. Turn the strength up. Here's the original one. We'll stick with that. We'll try a couple more. Try this one. That's pretty cool. I like the streaks. There's our original. This is our light. Now, it's time for caustics. To set up your caustics, what we have to do is click on the object that you want the caustics to go through. So our cup, go to Object Properties, Cast Shadow Caustics, make sure that's on for both objects, however many you have. Next, we need to use our grid to cast them. Receive, go to their Object Properties, Receive Shadow Caustics. Before turning on caustics, I would recommend saving your file because they're very taxing and it could cause your scene to crash. You might be wondering why nothing's happened, because the light has to have the caustics turned on. So go to Light Settings, go down to where it says Shadow Caustics and turn that on, and you'll immediately see it change. It's pretty awesome, but it's very taxing on your computer, so be careful. Turn on denoising. Keep that on usually. You can adjust the light if you want, move it around. I liked where it was set, so I just kept it. Yeah, a very simple scene. I know it's not much, but I really appreciate you guys checking out my stuff, and there will be more in-depth tutorials soon. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.